Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka. On today's show, GameStop approves plan to buy Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. Get ready for the pump, folks. Also, stablecoins. Are they the actual CBDCs? It's looking that way, and we're going to look a little deeper into it. All this and so much more on today's show. Welcome, folks, to Crypto News Global. I'm your host, Nick Toka, and on today's show, Bitcoin going about sideways, but big news from GameStop. It is March 25th, 2025, and I'm your host, Nick Toka. Welcome to Crypto News Global. Let's get right into our technical analysis, because I'm excited about this GameStop story. Here we go. Bitcoin sideways, 0.5% up, 87,600. Ethereum 0.25% down, 2,064. Solana up 2.5%, $143. Cardano up 2%, 75 cents. XRP up 1% to $2.46. Doge up to 19 cents, up 4.25%. Crypto Bubbles shows us today that 90 some odd percent of coins are in the green, including a move, making that big move up at 31% on the positive, and only Pi and Hex really on the negative. That's zooming out to the week, and we see SPX up 73%, Bear up 33%, Bonk 27%, Sonic 20%, Crow, which stands for Kronos, how didn't I know that, 38%, Avalanche 20%, Doge 15%. You know, almost everything up here for the week. And let's zoom out for the monthly, and same as usual, about 90 some odd percent in the red. But again, I feel like a lot of these are going to start moving toward the green. Like, for example, Hex. Didn't we just see Hex as one of the big movers on the plus side? Just seeing things, I suppose. But definitely I know that Injective is, been up about 10+% for the week. So these numbers will even out. Doge has been up. All these coins, most of them are actually up, as we saw for the week, everything in the green. So, and if we really want to make ourselves feel good, we could just zoom out for the year, and we've got the usual, XRP 290%, SPX 15,000%. Let's check out the coin market cap, which seems to be loading slowly right now. Let's get right into then our total market cap. We've got Bitcoin total market cap for the crypto, $2.82 trillion. Bitcoin holding 61.5% of the total crypto market. Ethereum 8.8%, XRP 5%, and this won't even let us refresh. It seems like she's down for the count. And our crypto fear and greed index today is a 47. Yesterday was a 46 in neutral, and last week a 32 in neutral. We have approximately 1,115 days left until the next Bitcoin halving in 2028, with 160,545 blocks left to mine. And total assets by market cap, we've got gold at $20.3 trillion, Apple $3.3 trillion, Nvidia $2.9 trillion, Microsoft $2.9 trillion, Amazon $2.1 trillion, Google $2 trillion, silver $1.9 trillion, Bitcoin sitting in the number 8 position, $1.74 trillion, Saudi Aramco, the oil company, $1.6 trillion, and Facebook at $1.5 trillion. And you can currently get 1,142 Satoshis for 1 fiat US dollar, and the US national debt currently sits at 36,640, coming on to 43 billion, which equals to 107,164 per US citizen, or 323,048 per US taxpayer. You and me, folks. A couple great stories I have. GameStop has been talking about putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and we all know what happens when companies put their Bitcoin on the balance sheet, right? So GameStop, if anybody doesn't know the history, back through the COVID lockdowns, there was sort of this meme that went out in the gaming community saying, hey, let's, for fun, let's pump the stock for GameStop. And the stock pumped through the roof. It was, news, and every broadcast went through the roof. Lots of people made huge money. So since then, though, the stock it's down to about $4 or $5, something like that. It's been pretty lackluster for quite some time. And now, not sure if they want to add a little more life into their stock, or if they legitimately are behind Bitcoin. I think it's probably a little bit of both in my estimation. GameStop approves a plan to buy Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset. I guess after the entire United States government adopts it as a U.S. Treasury reserve, why wouldn't these companies follow? Think about it, guys. GameStop is preparing to add Bitcoin to its balance sheet as a Treasury reserve asset. The video game retailer, which became a viral sensation among traders in 2021, just announced that its board has unanimously approved the move. In new SEC filings, GameStop says the move is part of the firm's strategy to use its liquidity to maximize shareholder value. On March 25th, today, we announced that as a part of our revisions to the investment policy, the board approved the addition of Bitcoin as a Treasury reserve asset alongside US dollar-denominated stablecoins to diversify the company's investment portfolio. A portion of our cash and future debt and equity issuances may be invested in Bitcoin. We have not set a maximum amount of Bitcoin we may accumulate and may sell any Bitcoin we may acquire. GameStop, which has about $4.76 billion in cash, is following companies like MicroStrategy and Tesla. CEO Ryan Cohen has hinted at this plan for months, and today's announcement triggered a 6% bump in the company's stock price. Yep. I expect more of the same in the coming days and weeks. In fact, I wouldn't be overly surprised if it was pump number 2 for GameStop. The video game sensation keeps on gaming. Now, there's also talk that's kind of died down recently about CBDCs, right? Since Trump came into presidency, he said no CBDCs. However, they have talked about stablecoins being pegged to the US dollar. And here's an interesting take on things. Stablecoins are the CBDCs, right? Let's get into this. The boogeyman of CBDCs are nothing more than a distraction from the real financial surveillance and control threat. Stablecoins. Check out the, for those who are just listening on Spotify or Google Podcasts, there's a picture of a pyramid with the eye, the all-seeing eye, which is, as big as the whole pyramid, kind of what you see on the dollar bill. So the distraction from the real financials is the surveillance and control of stablecoins. People like to refer to Bitcoin as a Trojan horse that we are going to smuggle into the legacy financial system and government. Stablecoins are a Trojan horse into our system that has already been successfully smuggled in. Stablecoins are heralded as some savior of the developing world, a passive escape hatch for them to discrepant financial systems and local currency risks. Well, that's the big thing about traps. They have to entice you to wander into them, or they don't function very well as traps, do they? Ouch. Oh, this is already, I see where this is going, folks. All of the stablecoin volume of significance happens on highly centralized blockchains issued through highly centralized smart contracts that almost entirely, with rare exceptions like liquid currency, have the power to arbitrarily freeze or confiscate any outstanding stablecoin tokens. A single party, the issuer for the supermajority of tokens they have issued, can freeze and seize their funds anywhere, anyone, globally. Damn. These blockchains almost all function on an account model as well, meaning that default behavior associates every transaction a user makes with a single public address identifier, putting their entire transactional history in full view of the world with a single glance. No UTXO clustering, no fancy analysis needed, just look at the account address. Shit. To compound things even further, because all of these chains are highly centralized, there is no software to speak of that general users interact with that is fully validating. Wallets connect to one of a few highly centralized servers every time they interact with their account and associates their IP address with that account. So not only do they see what you're buying, they know where you are. They've got associated IP address with the account. Fuck me. I mean, I knew all this, but this report is kind of a bit of a reminder. This is a trap, pure and simple. The United States does not need a CBDC. It has US dollar stablecoins. They already function in a way that concentrates all private information that could connect individuals to their on-chain activity in a few hands. All it takes is one interaction with a KYC exchange or an address posted online, connection to a social media account, and you're identified. Stablecoins are just as programmable as CBDCs, just as capable of implementing restrictions like expiring money or money that can only be spent in certain ways or certain places. What's the only difference between the two that matter? Adoption. Stablecoins are viewed favorably and highly used, whereas most places the sentiment is very against CBDCs. All of the pieces are there, the central point of control to seize the tokens, the total lack of privacy that makes a single association of KYC data a permanent surveillance mark, and the complete concentration of where that private information will wind up. All there to be snatched up and collected by the US government whenever it wants and used to coerce stablecoin issuers into acting how they see fit. These stablecoins are US dollar proxies. They must interact with the legacy financial system. They have to hold actual dollars and treasuries. It is necessitated by how they work. They are under the government's thumb, particularly the US government's thumb, whenever the government wishes it. It blows my mind that people not only accept the process of this happening, but some actively cheer it on. Bitcoin aims to be the truly sovereign and free money that enables anyone to do whatever they want with their own wealth. Yet, we are now apparently cheering on the exact opposite of that, riding Bitcoin's coattails to adoption in parallel. Help me make sense. CBDCs are the boogeyman to keep us distracted from the very real threat of financial surveillance systems that's already here. Stablecoins. We should be confronting that, not sweeping it under the rug. Yeah. That was intense. So, yeah. See, I kind of trust Tether because I use it when buying crypto on some of these exchanges. That's effectively all you can really use. because the coins are paired, right? BTC slash USDC, so USDT. So when you're buying a coin, or if you're using APIs to connect into a crypto exchange, these are the pairings that you use. So you kind of first have to trade your money into USDT, and then they're paired with whatever coin. So it's very easy and quick to trade with these things. Now, I don't like the last article, let me tell you. And I think they're bang on. If you really look deeply enough, this seems to be exactly what's happening with these stablecoins. Another boogeyman, as they call it, in the article, kind of a undermining, sidestepping method of them to gain control of your privacy. Because I've said it many times, there's nothing more revealing than knowing everything and anything you've ever purchased. And you might think, well, who cares if I buy a pack of gum or a pair of shoes? But think about this, folks. If every single transaction you ever made is tracked, okay, think of your day, right? You leave the house, okay, you go, you get some gas. Then maybe you stop somewhere else to get a coffee. Then you make your way to work. Then maybe at lunch you go out and you grab something to eat, or you grab a coffee, or you go out with some friends, buy a pack of smokes, whatever the case is. Then on the way home you stop at the supermarket, buy, apples, bread, and something to cook for dinner. So think about that. Okay, there is a trail of everywhere you went, and this trail can be, it's like an open book of everywhere you've gone and effectively everything you've done. Okay, so of course they can't track you if you're going for a hike at the local park, but they can track you if you're going for a hike at the local national park where you're paying an entry fee, and they can track effectively everything, every single purchase. Oh, okay, I'm going to build myself a supercomputer. Well, they can track every single thing you bought. Well, what are they doing with this supercomputer? For example, the question might come up. Or, okay, we need to look for this person for whatever reason. And you know how it is in Europe now. You can't open your mouth without them saying that you're against the government, or you're against LGBTQ, or you're against something. And people are going to jail just for talking now, right? So they want to trail you. Oh, you said something wrong online. They'll find you because they know you went to the gas station when you left your house. They know you went for the coffee. They know you went to work. They know where you went for lunch. They know where you went to the supermarket on the way home. They know, right? So, as I mentioned, you might think that, oh, who cares if they know that I bought this or bought that? But there's nothing more than telling. There's nothing more telling. There's nothing more revealing than tracking every single purchase you ever make. Don't forget that, folks. People overlook that and they just think, oh, who cares if they know? Who cares? Well, they can literally track every single move you ever make. And that's why people didn't want the CBDCs, but it seems like the way they put it in this article, the stablecoins are the CBDCs. On a better note, there are $900 trillion around the world in assets, folks. Get your share of them. Remember, money is abundant and money is everywhere, and part of it's yours. It's time that's scarce, so use your time wisely. Read books, read things that are interesting to you. Don't waste your time with stupid things. basic economic books. I've got a whole bunch of great books that you guys can read that will open your mind to economics and help you make the money you want to make and help you stay out of debt and really help you take a foot forward in your finances and in your investments. Always spend less money than what you earn. If you suddenly start making more money, start saving more money. Don't start spending more money. It doesn't make sense. And start saving when you're young and start investing when you're young. If you start investing in your teens or early 20s, you should be able to retire when you're 40. If you have a great idea, start that idea today. Even if you're not ready, things will come together. Start today. Please, if you found this stream enjoyable, do share, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you on the next stream, folks. Thanks so much for joining.